Hey, everybody, welcome to the Theological Dilemma. My name is Keith, and jumping right back in, but not really. So, if this is your first time, awesome, thanks. If you're coming back again, awesome, thanks. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, and so you can find out when new videos come out. Not like this is going to be a super dope channel with like millions of subscribers, but hey, I'm really just here for me and you, and hopefully you will, grab something from all this, and it'll help you on your path or life or whatever it is, or maybe with a relationship. I truly hope that. But if you're back for the first, or if you're back, not for the first time, if you're here for the first time and you haven't seen the other videos, hey, go and check out the other two videos before this one. It kind of gives you an idea of maybe where we're going, what we're about, or just watch this and maybe it'll help you understand nothing. I don't know. We'll see. But last time I talked about being okay with saying I don't know, being okay with having I don't knows about your faith, being okay with saying I don't know to questions about faith and religion and theology and all those things. And in doing that, I talked about coming to this place where I started deconstructing my faith or coming to a place of deconstruction. That really led me to think about why I was doing this. I thought I was doing this because I really, and I'm still doing it for the same reason. I want to help people. I want to connect people. I want to grow with people. I just want people who are Christians or not Christians to understand maybe a better or have a better understanding of Christianity, or maybe just have a better understanding of Christians overall and not just what they think of when they hear Christians. They think Trump and white supremacist and all those things. We are not that. Christians are not defined in this bubble of politics and Republicans and Democrats. It's not white supremacist and Black Lives Matter. It's Christianity is at its core love, and that's why I had to deconstruct in my faith, and that's why I'm here to talk to you about that. So in discovering, myself through deconstruction and understanding my faith better, through the reconstruction of that faith, which I'm still going through, I thought about that when I finished up last week and what I was going to continue on with. And I said, you know what, I want to back up and talk about me to you so you can understand my experience, my path, my journey, so you kind of understand where I'm coming from. And then you'll be able to maybe relate better to the subject matter or relate better to me, or maybe even it'll show you that you're not alone in your place, because what I've gone through, maybe you're going through now, or you've gone through. And I don't know, it just seems so much easier when you can talk. And I don't want to use a lot of Christian terms, but in this time I will, like my testimony of who I am, sharing me in my faith. And I thought about it, and it really started, like, if I really want to share who I am, I have to kind of go before I don't want to say became a Christian, but before I accepted my faith in Christ. It was up until I was about, 18, and, well, actually, I didn't get saved till I was 22. But all up in that time, my head, I was, an atheist. And I wasn't one of those people who said, like, hey, I'm an atheist. I don't believe in God. I don't get down with your church thing. I'm not here to bust your church bubble. I'm not here to, really rain hell over your Christian parade. What I'm really here is I'm just me. I didn't believe in God because for me there was no God. There was no connection. I didn't go to church. I had been to churches. I had been to church functions. One, because my grandmother is she was a very diehard Christian, and we would go to like Easter Sunday services with her like once every 2 or 3 years. I remember sometimes I had friends at like either middle school or high school that, like early high school, is like, hey, I'm doing this thing and it's a church and we're all going to hang out and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, cool. But it wasn't because I was going for God or Jesus or the Christian part of it. I was just going to hang out with my friends. I didn't listen to church services. I didn't go down to altar calls. I didn't do any of that because I was not a believer in God. I wasn't even like agnostic where, hey, I know there's a higher power, but I don't know what that is. There was none of that. So for me, I guess it was, where I wasn't like, well, one, I wasn't a militant atheist like I was talking about. I was more the opposite of that, being an atheist. Like I didn't care about Christianity, and I had no fight against it. But then I got married and I was brought into this family who believed in God and they were in the church, and it developed from there. And over that time, from the time I was, you know, just getting saved and just entering church and starting to understand the faith and learning the religion and listening to pastors and preachers and teachers and deacons and wise men and wise women in the church, I went from just this novice guy sitting in a pew to a guy who was teaching Wednesday night services, to a guy who's volunteering for youth Sunday school, and a guy who felt called to do youth ministry. And it just continued to grow until I was behind that curtain. I was like the Wizard of Oz. I was the guy behind the curtain, that kind of thing. Um, it was me now, like being in that place where I thought I had come to, because I really thought that me serving the Lord and me being a Christian was being at that highest place. And not because I had to have notoriety or things like that, but I really felt that, being a Christian meant that I was in that front area, really teaching and growing people. And that is still what I want to do, but it's completely different now, because I talked in this previous video about being okay with I don't knows, which led me to deconstruction, which is where we're going with this. I spent so much time thinking one way when I first started out in Christianity, because it was Southern Baptist. It's like one of the largest denominations in the United States, the Southern Baptist Convention. Most churches that are Protestant, um, outside of like Methodists and Presbyterians, because those are really close, and Lutheran really close to the Catholic Church. And when you get really down into like your other denominations, Southern Baptist is one of the largest, and it's growing. It was growing for a long time, denominations. And it has such a good doctrine and statement of faith that you don't, if you read that and then you go to a Southern Baptist church, you go, man, for some reason, these things don't usually line up. And it's because of the way the people are, and not all the people, but it's just people have beliefs, they have ideologies, they have values to what they think their theology and their faith and their religion is. But sometimes that's not always right. Sometimes it's not the core truth of things. So I was learning my faith from others who may not, I feel, um, was taking me in the right direction, because it was staunch, it was strict, it was very legalistically regulated. You do this, you don't do this. You do this, you don't do this. But there was times when you question things, and instead of like swimming that river of like knowledge, it was like this, or this. There was never an I don't know. There was never come back to me later. It was like, this is what I'm saying, and this is how it is. And then you find out, well, what they said might not be completely true. So that started taking me into a place where at one moment, and my story goes way deeper than just what I'm saying here. But the short version of it is I realized at some point where I was at doing what I was doing was not right for me and my faith and my spiritualness with God in Christ. So I stepped away from it. A lot of people didn't understand that. A lot of people today still don't understand it, and it's okay. What I do in my life is my business, but at the same time, I want other people to understand why. And it's that journey of knowledge and truth. So I kept going and kept going and kept going, and I was like, all right, I'm done. I tried to walk away. Try to stay in the realm of like churches and teaching and doing youth ministry, but it just seemed like every place was the same. Even though they say they were different, it just turned out to be the same at the end. And I completely stepped away from the institutional nature of church, the organized religion part of our faith, and said, you know what, I need to take a step back and I need to figure out what I truly believe. This is where deconstruction started. It was me taking the building blocks, or the blocks that had built my faith, and start taking them out the wall one by one and deconstructing this house of faith I had, and looking at that brick and go, is this brick a brick I need in this house. If not, I need to put it aside and see if I need to find another brick to put in there. But I had to strip it back all the way to the foundation. I had to get to the foundation and figure out what is my foundation. Next time, I want to talk to you about like what that process to deconstruction really is. And it's kind of short and simple of what I just said right now. And I'm just starting talking about my story, but I'll give you a little bit of insight to each individual time and maybe just hit a story highlight of sharing, the journey I went on and where I came from as an atheist to a Christian to, I don't want to call myself a deconstructed Christian, but at that point I am because I'm still in this rebuilding process. I've had a lot happen in my life and I love taking journeys with people. I love going on trips. And this trip that we'll take together, hopefully, will be something that helps you. If you like what you see, again, subscribe, hit the notification. More importantly, like the video or share it with somebody. Hey, check this out. Not because I'm trying to be famous, but I really do this because this is what I really feel I should be doing. Since I stopped teaching youth and singles and adults and college students and things like that, I feel like now I just want to offer my advice and most importantly, try to find a way to bring people together to love one another. Because at the end of the day, the most important thing I want you to remember is I want you to love others like you love yourself and treat people like people. If that works for you, it works for me, and I'll see you next time. Peace. I love you.